Now that you know what selections are, let's look at our selection tools. The first one is the marquee selection tool, which is just a fancy way of saying the shape selection tool. This one allows you to draw shapes, and then whatever is within that shape is your selection. You can change the shapes from you can have circular shapes, you can have rectangular ones, and various other things. I normally stick to just the square, and this is one of the most useful ones, especially whenever you're trying to select something very quickly. The next set of selection tools are your lasso tools. You'll notice by clicking and holding down your mouse, it gives you a bunch of options. Most tools do this because most tools have various forms. So the first one is the lasso, just the basic lasso. This just allows you to draw your selections and then connect them, and then boom, you have your selection right there. This one is not really that accurate, and sometimes it can be a pain to use, but it can come in handy sometimes. The second lasso is your polygon lasso tool. This one allows you to click and then create your selection in lines. It has a bit more accuracy than the regular lasso tool, but it's still not the most useful. Probably the best one on there is the magnetic lasso tool. This one is really cool. The magnetic lasso basically tracks on to colors that stick out, and it aids you in getting more accurate results. This is a very useful tool, and I highly recommend it whenever you're trying to cut something out. It's not perfect, but if you do it right, it can save you a lot of time. The last of the selection tools is the wand tool. This tool will seek out whatever color you click on. This is a very convenient tool, and it's good for quick jobs. For example, by just clicking on the white, I can delete the background of this picture. Boom. Now if you look up on the options menu, you can see that there are a lot of variables to adjust. Don't worry about these squares right here, just stick with this one because you don't want to worry about selecting other layers and stuff. Next you'll see tolerance. Now this is an important term that you're going to have to learn. It simply means how much this tool will deviate from the selected color in terms of its range on the spectrum. By setting it higher, the magic wand tool will select more shades of a certain color. Notice how it selects this much of the red, but then once I adjust the tolerance, then select it again, now it selects more. It will now select different shades. Now you're almost always going to want to have at least a little bit of tolerance, because mostly what pictures you're going to be dealing with aren't going to be solid colors. There will be shades, even if it's not even detectable by the human eye. Somewhere between 15 and 30 is usually a good balance. You may be wondering what anti-alias is. This also has to do with the blending. Anti-alias causes your selections to slightly overshoot their regular boundaries. This is intended to make the selection smoother and get rid of jagged pixels. However, I do not use this very often because under normal circumstances it just gets in the way. The contiguous option is simple. When a selection is contiguous, it selects the color you click on and then all colors of the same type depending on tolerance that are touching it. Notice when I click on the white here, it doesn't select the white in here, or here, or here. That's because they are separated. When contiguous is turned off, it'll select any of the shades of the color that it can find anywhere on the picture. So this can prove to be problematic if you're trying to get rid of this white background, for example. So that's why I usually leave contiguous on, because when you don't, it can sometimes delete pixels in other parts of your picture. And that's going to be pretty common in pictures that have a lot of colors going on. So contiguous is almost always checked, anti-alias is not checked. And don't worry about sample all layers, leave that unchecked as well. So that's it for the magic wand tool, and that's it for the selection tools. Remember that we will be ignoring many of the following tools, including the crop and slice tools, the healing tool, the clone tool, the history brush tool, the notes tool, and the pen tool.